Welcome back to FM Story. It's time for Season 3 of the Glory Hunter save. We've stayed with Bayern Munich, having won the Bundesliga last season. We've obviously still got the DFB Pokal to try and pick up this season. Hopefully we can give a much better account of ourselves than we did in the transfer window. We did say at the end of the last episode that if we were going to be staying with Bayern Munich, there would probably be some pretty big deals in and out, and that has happened. Also, while we've started Season 3, we've had a pretty monumental hard drive failure. So this episode's going to be a bit scuffed to recap the stuff that we've missed or the recordings that went missing. But without further ado, let's get in and have a look and see what we did in the transfer market in the summer transfer window. As you can see, and as we said, there's been plenty of transfer activity, a lot of outgoings. A lot of players have gone out on loan, but permanent deals. Ibrahimovic's contract's finished, he went. Muller had already agreed to go to Al Nassr. Malik Tillman, we sold for 10 million to Leverkusen. Harry Kane went for 54 to 68 million to Al Ahly. Sacha Boey went in a part exchange to Barcelona. Kingsley Coman went for 111 million, rising to 123 million to Al Hilal, and Noah Atabolu went to Milan for 45 million, rising to 55 million, which is pretty much, in fact, I think that once the deal reaches its maximum, will be everything we paid for him last summer. And then the incomings. So the first incoming was the part exchange with Barcelona. We've brought in Ilkay Gundogan, largely because we needed just some strength and depth in the midfield, especially if we were going to play 4-3-3 or even if we we're going to play the 4-2-3-1. Then we added Mike Maignan from Milan, a very expensive deal. It was 100 million, rising to 130 million in total. Basically, we signed Atabolu last summer, thinking he was going to be the number 2 to Neuer. Then Neuer decided he wanted to go. And largely Atabolu was fine, but there were some big games that he just didn't turn up in. The games against Feyenoord in the Champions League and against Hertha Berlin in the semi-final of the DFB Pokal. He made big errors in, so we've decided to upgrade in the goalkeeper position. We then, having sold Harry Kane, the thought is that Matisse tells the number 9. We obviously signed Marcus Leonardo in January, but we don't have an awful lot of other options through the middle unless we play Musiala or, as you'll see, one of the other signings through the middle. So we picked up Vitor Roque from Barcelona. Then, with having sold Kingsley Coman for 111 million, we have actually replaced him with someone who's a year younger in Luis Diaz. He was transfer listed at Liverpool and can come in and do the exact same job that we had Kingsley Coman do for us. And then we'd almost run out. Well, we had about 40 million left in the transfer budget, and we were looking at players that could possibly improve us. And then I noticed that Florian Wirtz was transfer listed by request. So I said to the board he would ensure that we can achieve our ambitions, and the board went along and lo and behold, splashed down 79 million on him, signed him, and also it's managed it satisfied a lot of the transfer conditions. He's German. He's playing in Germany. It weakens one of our rivals as well. So going into the season, obviously this has changed because we're now looking at it later on. We were 2-1 on. The odds have shortened, have lengthened, even with everyone else has come back to us in the odds. Prior to the start of the season, we had 9 of the 11 in the Media Dream 11. Now we've got slightly less than that. And so how things started this season, we started with the Super Cup against Hertha Berlin, who won the DFB Pokal from the second division last season. They've now been promoted to the top division. We weren't great. We took a lead just after the hour through Luis Diaz, and then they equalised with a free kick with practically the last kick of the game. The game went to penalties, and we did a lot better in this penalty shootout than we did in the semi-final. The semi-final last year, where we lost, where we only scored 3 out of 7. Their performance was similar because it was 2-2 after each team had taken 5 penalties in the semi-final. So we scored all 4. They scored one of the 3 that they took, and we won the Super Cup on penalties. And then we started the DFB Pokal. Obviously, we've got a lot of new players, so we wanted them to gel. We ended up hammering Hydra SV at 12-0. They didn't help themselves by having 2 players sent off, but we did the job, and we were hoping at that point that it would help gel the team going forward. And then the opening day of the league season, we beat Freiburg 3-1, pretty comfortable. We were 3-0 up at half time. They got a late consolation goal, and all was looking good. And then we went into the Leipzig game, and we weren't very good at all. They took an early lead when the ball was worked into the box. Abada pulls it back. Openda, it came off him and Olmo turned it home. We did get back on level terms on the half hour. Corner to the back post. Kim Min-jae with a big header at the back post there. But then, the 93rd minute, the ball comes to Heinrichs. He fires past Mike Maignan and gave them a 2-1 victory. And after 2 games, we'd already lost our first game of the season. It's made even worse by the fact that Gundogan missed a penalty at 1-1 that would have put us 2-1 in front. But our league season obviously wasn't getting off to the best of starts. We then did bounce back with a 6-0 victory at home against Heidenheim. And then we went to Hamburg and won 1-0. It wasn't our best performance at all. We didn't take the chances that we created, but we came away with 3 points. And then the Champions League started. We haven't got the best draws in the Champions League this season, but opening game at home to Man City in the Champions League. And they got off to a great start, opening the scoring after, I think it's 26 seconds when Erling Haaland goes through. Shot gets a bit of a deflection past Mike Maignan. We really struggled to create chances. We did get back on level terms when De Ligt's header hit Rodri and went in for an own goal. But pretty quickly after that, they went up the other end. Ruben Diaz into Kovacic, he squared it. Haaland taps in from close range. And our Champions League campaign didn't get off to the best of starts, losing our first game. We then were at home against Mönchengladbach, and again, we weren't great. We needed Matisse Tel to come off the bench to get 2 goals to see us win 2-0. And then the Stuttgart game, everything went wrong. So it started with Luis Diaz getting sent off for a wild tackle in the 19th minute, and the game was fairly even at that up until, I think, on the hour. We had a corner that Matthias de Ligt got his head to, but couldn't get the header on target. And then we disintegrated. Silas in A, because the space on the right hand side just jinxed past de Ligt. Mike Maignan should have saved that. I don't know what he was doing. It was practically right at him. Then the ball comes to the back post. Silas gets up. Rafael Guerreiro doesn't even attempt to head the ball. And then Girassi found Seawald. He put in, and then a reverse pass. Guerreiro again sleeping, and Silas completed his hat-trick. And then towards the end of the game, the ball from a free kick comes through to Zagadou at the back post. He pokes it past Mike Maignan. And that meant we got hammered 4-0 by Stuttgart. So at the end of September, we've not started particularly well. We've already lost 2 games in the league. We're 4th in the table. We're already 5 points off the top of the league table. Obviously, we won quite comfortably in the first round of the DFB Pokal. And then in the Champions League, we were per Man City, but not the best of starts that we got off to there either. And there we have it, the end of a bit of a scuffed episode. Everything should be back to normal from the next episode. But as we said, not the best of starts of the season. We've already lost 2 league games. We're 5 points off the top of the table. There's still plenty of time to make that back. And obviously, we've already won the Bundesliga. So as far as the Glory Hunt Save itself is concerned, we don't need to win that this season. But if we start to drop too far off, we're going to get sacked before we have a chance to win the DFB Pokal. Champions League, we went out embarrassingly to Feyenoord last season. We've not started very well, but we were up in Man City. We do have Inter Milan, Arsenal, Tottenham. Arsenal won the Champions League last season. Tottenham got beat in the final. So we've got some big games to come in the Champions League. We've also got some big league games coming up in the next episode. We've got Dortmund, we've got Leverkusen. So join us next time to see if we can get our league form back on track. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.